how it goes. Love is always messy, gotta confess the best me probably can't see how to be a we when you keep me guessing. I wanna stress that this is a bad situation for me. I should break up with you, but I don't wanna, cause got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. You like my body. Well, they say I'm on the rebound. Boy, your name is Ben Wallace. Be like Shaq and dunk it back, cause maybe I'm the tallest. But flawless I am not, so I'm questioning that shot. Like Big Ben shooting free throws, but you're really fucking hot. So what do they know? I'm not wounded just because they say so. Wounds will bruise me, sure there's pain, but I always say I'm like a volcano. Can we be the same though? Not a simple yes or say no when you're clogged up on this dude like your life needs fucking Drano. It's insane though. He treats you like shit, and you can't quit it. Now I've really stepped in it, cause I've got the feels for you and I should just move the fuck on. But I'm not going to, because got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. And you like my body. And you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Whatever.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
Murder on the beat like Godzilla slaying Tokyo. Just left your girlfriend sheets. Boomerang Rufio. Hooked her on this beat, Sonic. She was never saying no. Roll 20 on her tabletop, but she got some booty though. Chronic for the ones with positronic brains that wanna laugh and fuck that run but positive. But once I let you do that, kids will positronic. If I'm honest, Betty Well will probably still be here the night I leave this cruel demonic world and want me Sonic. Losing brings are worse than me. Like that One Piece Luffy King, I'm out to find that booty, Nami's on it. So what you say out that COVID quarantine, and you're looking good to me. Wanna let me in that Polly Pocket?
Lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
Fucking trends like I'm a winter soldier. No girlfriend, no scully to my molder. I pull on the depends fully when I'm older and still get checked like a Goron gets molder. Focus Gold Ranger hit a pig trying to domesticate. Masticate, I get it straight, so I ain't gonna masturbate. Swapping ride and sinking low faster than my own self-hate. Think I'm cool like Ricky Bobby, but I'm bagging Ricky Lake. It's just a journey that I'm on. I fuck a lot, don't tell my mom. I suck at bills cause weed's the bomb, and I like the girls when they get that green on. You did something hard to swallow, leaving me. Borrowed Jordan's lines line you with my density. Now I'm back to a future where it's just me in a world of Elizabeth.
Call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
like the economy. Don't call it a recession, because 1% think it's great and the rest of y'all can lay off. I'm guessing sticking to dick jokes at nearly 40s childhood regression. When the fuck is the payoff? Clearly shorty was a better term than bitches, but when situations got us digging ditches just to pay some bills, we fix it back to burning witches when we should be burning corporations, but we bridges down fixing for pills. But who cares? Cause I can make it still, be the 1%. Ain't that the thrill? That'll fix it all. Let bears and bulls do their will, but it bears repeating. We full ass can't pay our bills still. Gotta keep the hope alive. American dreams for American lives. You forget your woes when I shuck and jive, and if that doesn't work, scroll me on by. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time.
Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body.
Sure, we may not be healthy, but we're cuter than a selfie. Pure like romance market, self-pleasuring, multi-level market selling. It's telling how we're always faulty on the shelf, but still be fucking. Fucky knows now Tori spelling. Let's do Polly, Mary Shelley. Frankly, every dime of Ben Sign's money couldn't buy the kinds of things I feel inside whenever you are by my side. Hell, let's play shell games with our feelings. I'm on your line, just keep on reeling. You might be null, so fake's appealing. Stay in the weeds like Kevin Nealon. Heaven only knows what I would be without you. Feel big love like I'm Bill Paxton, but I'm broke like Brian Wilson. Should I hold on like his daughter? Is that lining up for slaughter? Be time for wounds to cauterize, so we hit heights like my alma mater. This is how it goes. Love is always messy. Gotta confess the best me probably can't see how to be a we when you keep me guessing. I want to stress that this is a bad situation for me. I should break up with you, but I don't wanna, cause
Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. You like your body.
well, they say I'm on the rebound. Boy, your name is Ben Wallace. Be like Shaq and dunk it back, cause maybe I'm the tallest. But flawless I am not, so I'm questioning that shot. Like Big Ben shooting free throws, but you're really fucking hot. So what do they know? I'm not wounded just because they say so. Clues will bruise me, sure there's pain, but I always say I'm like a volcano. Can we be the same though? Not a simple yes or say no when you're clogged up on this dude like your life needs fucking Drano. It's insane though. He treats you like shit, and you can't quit it.
Well, I am not my much prettier girlfriend, but you should stick around and watch what I'm doing anyways, cause I share some stream accounts with my much prettier girlfriend, but I think if you hang out, you'll find out that I am we share a Twitch account. Twitch.com/dorkspace. She's on it, honestly, most of the time. I'm sorry that I'm not the hottie that you were hoping to find. Pretty hot though, if I say so, just not the hottie you were looking for. But I'm playing every game on the Nintendo 64 and every Final Fantasy game that's come before. So please stay and watch me, por favor. I can't do this song anymore.
Hello. Hello, hi. Hello. Welcome once again to the Sisyphean task of playing through every Final Fantasy game that is currently only on Final Fantasy 2. Why is it Sisyphean, you ask? Well, because this game is hard. And every attempt we've made to go into that obvious portal to hell right there has not gone well for us. It's in fact gone poorly, one might say. It still seems to be probably where we should be as far as leveling up goes. So it's where we're going to be hanging out for the foreseeable future. To kind of, which is like how the game's intended to be played, right? You're meant to get to this point in the game and kind of start this process of going in and drawing your own maps and figuring out how best to get through here, right? And trying to get all the treasure and be like, okay, yeah, that treasure chest is worth it, or that one's not worth it, and that's how you would normally play this game. You would not be playing it the way we are, where you know, a lot of people probably play it now, where they like immediately kind of go and go like, oh, let me find the map for this. Let me just take the cleanest path through. You're back. Welcome back, Sam. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we are back at it here. We are slowly leveling up our Ultima spell. We are slowly leveling up our final party here. Doing all right. Just been editing. I am in a Superman shirt. We get to see Superman tonight. I wish I got to watch it sooner than tonight at 7. I've not been this excited for a movie in a while. Out of curiosity, does my name have any weird tags? I see the moderator one and the share the love one. And that you've been following me since March 11th, 2024. Yeah, I don't see anything weird. Am I supposed to see something weird? Edo accidentally banned me this morning, and we don't know how Twitch deploys suspicious users tags. Okay, cool. He accidentally banned you? That's amazing. I can't wait to give them no ending a shit for that later. Incredible. You don't look like a suspicious user. I mean, any more than usual. Yeah, he was going to ban a bot, and my quippy reply popped right. Yeah, that's so easy to do. Twitch makes it too easy to do things like that. I wish they would make that slightly less efficient. While also you don't want to make it impossible to like ban or get rid of people. So like it also, there is a way? Okay. Here's a question for you, Samuel. As we are nearing, you can disable mod icons, then you have to click their name in the ban button in a little pop-up card. Okay. Yeah, that's probably a little more helpful. Or type /ban username. Yeah, the commands seem to be the best structure for things, probably, but I understand why a lot of us default to clickies. That's just who we are. That's the question. Oh, okay, so we are... I'm no longer delusional enough to think that I'm going to be beating this game, like, soon. Like, this week or next week or anything, right? Like, we're currently in the battle we died to at the end of last week, because this particular dungeon is a little hairy, and it's basically part of a back-to-back dungeon we have to get through. Jeff finally accepts this is Final Fantasy 2 years, yeah. But I mean, we're in the home stretch. It's gonna happen soon. I have to start thinking and wrapping my head around how we are going to play Final Fantasy 3. I do have that. I like the idea of playing that Famicom card I have of it, and then but I know that involves getting something that can play it, which I don't currently have. I have a couple different ways to play NES carts, but not Famicoms. You've only played the 3D version on Steam. God, that exists. That's so weird. Yeah, I need to, if I like the idea of going that route for stuff. This would be a weird one because I'm so deep in at this point. I've basically emulated the first two, and then the third one is the only other one I'm going to be doing that's like NES era. So is it better to just emulate the last one, call it a day, and then work towards like getting a Super Nintendo so that when we're playing 4 and 5 and 6 we have that. But then there's another question: when you play 4, 5, and 6, do you play like the American 4 is very different from the actual 4. I don't know. It's hard to answer these questions. I like the idea of getting a hold of it, using it as an excuse to get a Super Nintendo. That is like in good working shape, because I don't currently have one. And then getting those carts that I don't currently have. And 5 didn't get American release till PS1. That is correct. That is how I played it originally. And that's an option too, is to just get a PS1 or a PS2 working again, and then you're basically covered for the next 6, although you have to play those anthologies versions that people get probably uppity about. I can say good morning, Shiki. Hello. It says, so as funds are regularly tight, I'm going to be a good friend and tell you to stop trying to collect. I appreciate that, but that's a faucet that is not going to get turned on. Here's the thing. I think that like collecting, given that it's taken me, 7 months per game, I don't think this is like the most insane collecting idea of collecting these as I play them. Because even though some of them are like more expensive, it's not like it comes up very often. What does Lena think of this? She'd be like, oh, whatever makes you happy, because she's way too good for me. And we're still. You're the only voice of reason. So here's where we're at. I think I got Selena's computer fixed for the most part. What is weird about it is that thing managed to, like, when the pop got spilled in, it basically all collected in one area and section of stuff. And so we thought we had it super clean, and then we were like starting to work on the PC, and then it like stopped working and wouldn't power on and post at all, which was obnoxious. And then it was like, okay, how are we moving backwards? And it turned out the section of the motherboard where you plug in the power switch and stuff, that section just had enough like lingering gunk on it from the spilled drink that even though it was working, then it stopped working. and because I had to call my buddy over because I was like, I can't figure out what's happening here. And he has, part of it is he has better eyes than me, but like also he's just more experienced. He actually works IT as opposed to me who just like dabbles, right? And he was like, oh no, there is still, it's hard to see, but there's still stuff here. And we got both sides of it cleaned up, got the motherboard working again. But there was and I didn't build the computer, and Selena kind of did, but mostly her ex built this computer. And there was underneath by the power supply, there was like a free floating SATA hard drive that I got the brunt of everything that dripped down, and that thing's just toast. It's just done. And for whatever reason, the Windows install seems to be split between the solid state drive and that thing. So I don't understand why. You would split it so it can't boot because it can't see the other drive. So I've got that it was just a storage drive. All of our important stuff was saved on the solid state. We probably lost something that inevitably, right? But like for the most part, it's fine. In a world full of like possible terrible scenarios, Sam says you may be able to go with bootable Linux drive to pull her data off. Ari did that. So Ari did that. I hooked up a new SATA drive, and then I used a bootable Linux USB to go into Ubuntu and like copy all the data over, and yeah, that's all done. So where we're at now with this process is, you know, we have like another potential influx of money coming in the fall, and so Selena is like, if I'm being honest, like I just really want a good laptop, maybe even like a MacBook. Oh, I can't use, that's right, she doesn't have Insuna leveled up enough, so I have to use the other soft. Your editing computer almost got murdered by Windows last night? How did that happen? So the thought is that like I will actually take over what has been her computer, and then she'll still have like a user on it. So on the very occasional times where she wants to log in and like play a game, that's an option that's available to her. But for the most part, it'll basically replace this machine because, you know, I'm starting to hit walls with production in which like this in putting extra money in it's probably what makes the most sense going forward, and then she can get a big fancy laptop when we have the influx of cash, and that's probably what we're settling on. And then I'm gonna make her say that that's what she wants another 100 times, because I want to make sure that like she's on board with that and not just like saying that because it, you know, it's like I want her to be able to keep her computer if that's where she's at. But if she is like, no, this makes sense, that goes. So that's part of the equation too, is depending on when, if that's the plan, which is not going to happen right away because I did really look too closely at that computer. You know, it's I try to be very like, oh, that's your stuff, like whatever, and like try to give her autonomy and stuff. And so part of when we do a fresh Windows install, what's gonna have, which I might have to get a key for, because like I don't know what happened, how Windows got on there the first time and how legal that was. I don't know. So like that might be some expense, right? I inevitably have some amount of keys tied to my Microsoft account, but Microsoft doesn't let you know what you have and don't have because I understand why, but it's frustrating. I wish I could just pull up my Microsoft account and they'd be like, yeah, you actually have like this many Windows licenses. That'd be neat. So there's that expense to look at. And then the other expense is just there's only 16 gigs of RAM in that computer for some reason, which I wish I would have known because as she was hitting problems and stuff, I would have been like, hey, maybe we should look at upgrading your RAM, but I had no idea. Which like 16s can be plenty for gaming stuff. It's just when you're doing gaming and streaming and not the master of efficiency that people like Sam are, if you're not looking at it that way, it's really easy to overtax your machine. So and I would like to get, because that will be a downgrade, because that's the one thing this thing has going for it, is it has copious amounts of RAM. And I can always keep this as like the streaming machine, right? But it says best recent upgrade I've done, bumping the editing PC up to 64 gigs has been so helpful. Yeah, and that's the main thing that is like production wise. Like this is at 32 and I'm already hitting walls with this one. But it's like that's the hard thing to explain. That's like really most people that aren't doing any kind of like production work don't need actually that much RAM, and you're never gonna hit the walls of 32 or 64. If you're just doing standard streaming stuff, you're probably not gonna hit the walls of 32. But it's like once you add production work and stuff in there, and if you run things really inefficiently like I do, you're gonna have some problem. Sam says again, if you miss it, virtual memory can help if you don't have enough RAM. Yeah, can you elaborate on like what that is and how that works? Because that's new to me. And I did IT stuff years ago. I thought I was gonna go to school for it, and now I just dabble. So you can allocate part of the drives to be used as RAM. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, especially I imagine that makes sense with solid states in a way that it didn't used to with mechanical drives. Just by the physics of it. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have never known about that. But yeah, so I'm looking at, I gotta first figure out the windows of it all and see if I'm having to dump money in there. And I know there's always ways you can get cheap keys. But like it's always the how like if you're actually buying from like, you know, corporations that have bought a whole bunch and like have them laying around, that's one thing, but it's having the ability to vet for that and make sure it's that and not just like, hey, we stole someone's credit card and bought a bunch of keys and we're selling them off. This is like, we have a terabyte drive that's mostly empty in the stream PC. The main drive is OS and software. The external drive is games. So I told Windows to use 10 or 16 gigabytes of the most empty storage drive as virtual memory. Yeah, that's cool. That's smart too. I wonder how it allocates between the two. I also don't need you to know that information. I'm curious. That's a really cool concept. Or 16 gigabytes, more like 32. Nice. Yeah, it's yeah, I can't believe she was running with only 16. There's definitely problems she's hit in the last, you know, like 3 or 4 years she's lived here that I, mad myself, I should have looked closer at it. I just never would have assumed that when someone built a computer, Windows automatically turns it on. I think like part of our storage problem on the main drive was Windows blocking off more space on the main drive as we played heavier games. You know what, you're probably right, because I start running into pretty massive problems doing a lot of the stuff that I do on here if I fall below 100 gigs used up. So like as I'm in a bigger editing project or something, like my computer will really start to struggle. So I turned off the main drive and directed it to bigger, emptier space. Nice. Since you can let Windows manage it automatically, or you can give it a custom size. It seems to be doing LDME steps, but it'll require restart. Yeah, I definitely don't need to do it right now. That's interesting to know, because that's definitely the wall I was hitting. Is, yeah, as I would fall below 100 gigs, the computer would just not have what it wanted to allocate. Yeah, all that to say that I have to put that into the planning, right? Of both budget, Terry. Like, I don't have the ability to pull triggers on both on both a Windows key and some RAM if I'm also out there buying consoles and like everything else. Then if I'm not buying consoles and everything else, then I have to also like wrap my head around like, okay, if you start Final Fantasy 3 on this computer, we have to make sure that then it can transfer over to be played on a different computer eventually, which is not impossible. It's just like knowing those files and like how they would have to transfer and all that stuff. But it's again stuff that is like will be better figured out beforehand rather than like on the fly. I don't want to get like 10 hours into a game and then go like, oh crap, I thought this was going to be transferable and then it's not. So this was running a Windows 8 laptop and couldn't get more RAM, so I bought USB hubs and drives and set them all up as virtual memory so I could game on my laptop. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it makes sense. And it's one of those things that like never would. So I grew up just kind of organically doing IT stuff. Like I was always taking, you know, I built my first computer as a kid from like just grabbing a bunch of different computers. People like were like, we're done with this, we're throwing it away, and would just piece together ooh, here's my computer now, you know. Was always taking computers apart, putting them back together, and so like my knowledge, man, I'm good with a 486. Like I can really take a 486 where it needs to go. And that's you know, that era of computing is like the height of my knowledge. And back then there's no way that you could have done that because you know, hard drive space is just not the speeds that it is. You know, RAM was so much faster, but you had so much less of it. But yeah, today, like, certainly. I don't know why I never even thought that would be a thing. That's so smart. Oh, well, everyone's in the back row. This could go bad just because I forgot to move people forward. That's always fun. But yeah, so those are, you know, that is the very long Sam question. Is like, those are all the parameters. What is the smartest path? Because in some ways, finding a third party, not third party, but a separate device that is being capture carded in maybe makes the most sense if the computer is going to transition maybe during that process, right? And so maybe it makes more sense to go out and get something. But then it'd be cool to play the physical cart that I have. But I also would want to make sure that I'm not getting something just for one game. Like, it would have to be something that I could foresee a way to utilize it in other different ways. And ideally not like abstract, like, oh, I would totally use this in some other way, but like in a like more concrete, like, this is on the books. So but then it also means like buying RAM. I've not bought RAM in years, and so that stuff's all changed too. I mean, not like crazy, but it's just everything is different. IT has left me behind. But that'll be nice because it's like, that's like a win-win. Selena really does not like sit and use her computer with any amount of regularity. Hasn't since she's moved in here. If she did before, I completely forgot to move people forward again. So bad at my job. So it's a win-win because we need to I mean, need is not as strong a word. This is probably not the accurate word now that like we're leaning so heavily into the shop stuff and less into the streamy stuff, right? But we're still streaming for the shop 2 days a week, and having something that is a little more reliable is not the end of the world, right? And yeah, they're probably not necessary for there's still the majority of people doing live comic sale shows like are still doing them from their phone, which I've never understood, but that's the world that and the phone cameras are getting better and stuff, but and microphones and you know everything that I hate it. I just don't. I know that's what everything is moving to, is just like, why would you use a computer when you can use an iPad for everything? I hate it. We do have fancy phone mics now that would plug into an iPad. We use them to plug into the phone when we make like our weekly videos and like TikToks and stuff for the shop, and it's weird. I don't hate it. It's nice, and it's, you know, it definitely, as everything has shifted more to that my early videos and stuff for the store where I'm not utilizing that kind of stuff, you can tell the difference, right? But it's still, I don't know. Feels a bit weird. I fell for that one. These are the guys, I think they... Yeah, they can sap HP or MP, and they can do it in the back row even. So they were a big part of me really struggling to get one of these runs in this dungeon in any meaningful direction. One point, like, Sam has forgotten all his magic, but that matters a little less because, you know, he's a stabby guy. We've not taught him. I don't think we've taught him any spells. It's a little mean, honestly, but like, we can't trust him. He was an evil emperor. Okay, details sent. Thank you. I appreciate it. Can you glance at your DM just to see the ridiculous file path? Absolutely. Oh, I keep forgetting what Discord looks. Yeah, it is. That is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 menus deep. That's crazy. I understand burying it that much, but like, I really miss the old, like, control panel days where it's just like, here's everything you need, go for it. When I have problems now half the time, it's just like, alright, how do I don't know that she can cure his forgetfulness. It's, again, not the end of the world that he's forgetful because he didn't have anything really to remember. But it would help level up her Insuna. Oh, yeah. Alright, cool. Oh, no. He's still forgetful. Okay. Well, we tried. Yeah, I appreciate the help. I'm gonna be, looking at all that stuff and figuring out what to do with it. I had another SATA drive sitting here because when I was starting to hit storage problems just with DorkDuck stuff in this computer, Dirkifer just gave me one he wasn't using, which is wildly sweet of him. That was like a 4 terabyte drive that I don't know if he got it from work or something. Is something that like just wasn't being used, and was like, hey, you can use this, which was very sweet of him. And I'm so lazy, so I just have not done anything with it over the almost a year it's been sitting here. So that was, but then that made that really easy to like plug right in there, and I use that to copy over basically the entire user folder and onto that thing. And then yeah, I just need to do clean Windows install, which I think the biggest barrier to that is I want to find if I have another thumb drive sitting around, because I kind of want to keep the Ubuntu jump drive just because you never know when you're gonna need it. And like, it was nice to have, and I could just put that somewhere, and then the next time I need to do something like this, I don't have to go through the process of figuring out how to make them. And like, it is neat though. In the old days, I had to like make a very specific one that with like limited features that could run on one of those things. And the ones today, it's just like, it was pretty much full Ubuntu. This is future Final Fantasy plans. If you are dead set on carts, I recommend Retron 5. You can read any region cart. 3 and 5 should be able to use an SD card to apply translation. Patches, again, 3 and 5, that would cover you for 3, 4, 5, and 6. And any future NES / Famicom, SNES, Super Famicom, Genesis, Mega Drive, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games you'd want to stream or record. That's a good thought. I forgot that it would also do the Super Nintendo stuff. And then I'm not dumping a bunch of money into an old console that may or may not work too, which is like always like that would be my preference, but it's so hard to get those things working sometimes, and keep them working. Getting them working is one thing, but keeping them working sometimes is real hard. Get a third-party controller for those systems. The in-package Retron 5 controller is actually the worst controller I've ever held. Oh no. Does it have like a USB in? Can you use like any USB controller in it? Do you have to get proprietary? Can you put OG controllers in it? These are my questions. My other question, which might have left me because I'm not sleeping well again this week, is about saves. Is it saving just to the cart? So do I still have to worry about making sure the cart has a good battery in it? Does it have its own like little save state? It must, because I think I remember you saying that about the Donkey Kong games and stuff. That's like that basically killed all retro gaming for my ex-wife. I felt so bad. She was so happy because I got an NES going, and I you know, bought the original Zelda, and she was just having such a good time playing it, and then the battery died, like, and she lost like 3 weeks worth of price, and I don't think she's touched retro gaming like ever again. No USB as far as you remember. Retro 5 has ports for NES, SNES, and Genesis. OG works, and I think 8-bit do work. The ones that are proprietary Bluetooth dongles. Okay. I will look into it. I think that would be a nice option, especially if I can like load fan translations onto and get like especially the Famicom versions of those games are not wildly prohibitively expensive. I mean, they are if you're trying to do like complete in-box nonsense, but like that's I don't want to say why, because it's cool, but like also hit the game, play the game. You can dump saves from the card, save to the cart, or save it internally. There are 10 save states per game, I think. Okay, yeah. That's really helpful. Obviously, any third-party wire controller should work as long as it has the proprietary plug part. Yeah, that might be the solution, because then I could get... I don't know if you remember all of this nonsense, but there's a lot of differences between US2 and Super Nintendo 4. Really silly. And a lot of it was I would have to do more research. The word on the street when I was a kid is that they thought we Americans were just too dumb to handle the original 4 as it was made. Granted, I will give them this. You know, there was a lot more of these that came out in Japan, and so like, you know, if you had experience over the last several years playing the whole evolution of the series as opposed to jumping straight from Final Fantasy 1 to 4, like, there probably was more of a learning curve. That makes sense. There should be. But yeah, I think they changed a few story things too. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I played that game. All I remember about Final Fantasy 4/2 is because I played it when I was a kid. I remember liking it, but I also remember hitting the point where the guy turns into a paladin, and it almost killed the whole game for me. Like, I was just like, all right. He looks kind of lame now, though. Sam says, you know how big our retro collection is. I had Minish Cap crash on me once. Still beatable. Game about Chain of Memories had some weird graphical bugs. Toy Story doesn't have audio. And Tales of Fantasia will not read. Translated. Oh, okay. Reproduction. So do you have... That's my other thought too, is like, is that because of the Retron, or would it be, is it the carts themselves? Like, I'm curious how much, like, the Retron, okay, yeah. Because like I said, one of the solutions, Toy Story and Tails work fine in my SNES. Yeah. Well, there's one of the possible solutions, right, is to just get a PlayStation, right? Because PlayStation could also, you know, emulate Final Fantasy 3, and then use a PlayStation to get us through the rest of these. And that'll get you from 4 all the way up to 6, 7, 8, 9 on the PlayStation 1, right? And then your brain jumps to, well, if you get a PlayStation 2, you got 10 and 12 too, and like Cerberus, that's the word. You want to play that too? But I remember from having a PlayStation 2 back in the day when they were brand new consoles, that my copy of Final Fantasy Anthology had so many issues playing on the PlayStation 2. There was something about the emulation of jumping up one console, that it was backwards compatible, but that was one particular game that, like, it was still playable. It just had a lot of graphics issues that were a lot of like, what's happening? And so that's what made me immediately jump to the idea of like, okay, is there, is it the Retron that's causing the issues? And it turns out, yeah, because emulation is not. 4 out of 114 carts had issues. Oh, if your carts. Well, and what's rough with that stuff too, and it's true of like emulation too, is that like the games that have issues are sometimes the ones that aren't going to get the support. You know, there's not people that are like sitting around being very passionate about those games, so they like don't get the like love of someone going like, how do we get this working? I kept hitting that wall with the Nintendo 64 dream of just like finding these ROMs that just were completely busted, and you would just find one forum post of someone being like, yeah, that game just completely doesn't work in any of the emulators. The ROM dump seems fine. It's just like whatever particularly weird thing about that game just doesn't seem to want to emulate well. And if it's like a big popular game that a lot of, you know, if it's Star Fox, people are going to figure it out, and that's going to get patched into all the emulators. But if it's, you know, Elmo, See and Spell 3 or whatever those games were, it at that point, you know, that's not getting that level of support. Sam says, I also learned from looking at game dev, dabbling in speedruns, etc. Games were actually just super broken back in the day. Even on original hardware, they were buggy as fuck and riddled with soft lock minefields. People just look back on their childhood with rose-tinted glasses. I mean, that's true too. We're back to once again fighting King Behe. Again, we have beaten him once before. We did not survive after we did so. Lost all of our progress. So we're gonna attempt to do it here, get the rune axe, and then leave with our experience and our rune axe. King Behe deserves more love. Yes. You forgot one. What's the other one that's not working? Final Fantasy D-Make won't read on my Retron. That's so sad. But it's also a ROM hack slash reproduction. That's interesting that... Are those the only 2 reproductions you own? It's interesting that those specifically don't work. Let's send a fuck up with the person making the cart. Don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Or they have some very specific, you know, version of a nope. My DK-C3 is a repro. As it my translated Bahamut Lagoon. I didn't realize your Donkey Kong 3 was. That's wild. It's weird that that one would be reproduced. It seems like there's probably plenty of them around. All right, we're gonna leave this place. Their tail between our eggs. Maybe. Yeah, friend bought it for me. Original tested version. Yeah. Original tested. I opened it, had the box art squeezed onto label. Oh, that's heartbreaking. I used to own a ton of like bootleg DVDs, but they were of all things that like weren't getting DVD releases and stuff. So, but people would like make them and sell them. But man, does that suck? It's not the end of the world, but they won't overcharge much, so they didn't return it. Just left a bad review on eBay. Yeah, it's not. There's no problem with that if like you're informing the buyer what it is. I wonder if they knew what they had. We sold video games on eBay for like literally 2 seconds, and I kind of put the kibosh on it because it was just, and it was like we were doing it on consignment. And we were tapping into a whole inventory that like wasn't ours, but we had a couple situations where it just, and it's not like it never happens in comics, because obviously we dealt with a big scary situation like that with comic books, right? But like when you go into toys and video games, it just feels more constant. That, you know, we would sell a rare 64 cart, like, and it wouldn't be mine, it would be my buddy's, right? That I sell a lot of stuff for him on consignment, because he just goes around and, you know, buys out people's collections of stuff, and he has a real job, but he just does this stuff on the side and lets me sell for him, and it's, you know, everyone's happy. But like it would be a rare 64 cart, one of those that's like absurdly worth money that feels like it shouldn't be, and we would send out the, you know, we, oh my gosh, we sold it for like $400, we'd sell it out, and they'd be like, "This is a repro," and we'd be like, "It's not a repro. Like, we did our homework. It's not a repro." And then they would do the return, and then we would open the return box, and we would get a repro sent back to us. And it was like, oh, okay. And then we're sitting there trying to argue with eBay that what we sent is not what we got back. And it's just, you know, it's between all the times it happened with video games and with toys. It happened with toys where we would send a figure, and they would be like, "Hey, this got broken on its way to us," and be like, "Okay," and eBay would make us accept the return, and then we would get the return back, and it would be a completely different figure, and then we're stuck arguing with eBay to like, and half the time eBay is just like, "Well, what are you gonna do? Like, it's they have a, you know, we decided this time to side with the buyer." And we only won one time, and it was because literally it wasn't just the picture, and it's so impossible. You can't prove a negative, right? Like, you can't prove that something that wasn't there was, you know, because they seem to side with like descriptions and stuff more than they do the actual pictures and stuff. But like, how are you going to list things that aren't there to then be, when it shows up, you'd be like, "This isn't ours because it has this going on," and they'd be like, "Well, is that in the description?" It's like, no, why would we put in the description that it doesn't have that? Like, so like, but the one time we sold a figure and it was missing parts, and we listed that it was missing parts, and they did the swap and sent us back the broken one, and that was the only one we won because we were able to go and be like, this contains parts that ours that we sent out did not have. This is just filmed the entire packing and shipping process. I mean, we were about there. I still don't think it would help you because you're fighting algorithms, not people most of the time. And then once you get to people, they're paid to like make you happy, but also like try to get you to default towards the algorithm. So it was such a nightmare. Okay. We are looking at, do we want to do the rune sword? It takes our damage from 119 to 139. So probably, I said sword, I'm an axe. So probably yes. That does mean we lose the poison, which was fun. But it's fine. And then we sell the poison axe for all that money and the leather sword. So we can try to buy the item. Again, it really doesn't matter that he has forget on him, but I don't love it. I don't know what makes him remember, though. Does a kiss make you remember? How about a pan? How about a curse? Does a curse make you remember? Gotta be one of those, right? Translation so terrible. Here, X here. I drop here. I mean, obviously the elixir would do it, but that seems like overkill. Let's try a pan. Does a pan help you remember? It does. Sam, I just had to hit you in the head with a pan, I guess. Now all is remembered. Fine. But yeah, you were joking about just filming the entire... We were there at the end of us doing eBay stuff, and then we just hit a point where it's like, we can't do this anymore. It's just, I get it, there's no shortage of people that want to sell on it, so it's like they don't have to woo the sellers at all. Their policy sounds awful. Yeah, I mean, it's to protect buyers, and it's far more likely that a seller is going to screw over a buyer than a buyer is going to screw over a seller. And then they're not in the like the one seller to buyer relationship business. You know, they're trying to get people to everything in that platform is trying to be like, what if you bought more from other different people? So I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. It's just crazy. Did you said above about VODs? I did not. Completely off topic. I'm less than a year away in VODs from when we met, and that feels weird. Like I've edited so much shit now. That's wild. That is wild. I'm excited to see back some of that stuff and relive the memories and the jokes and the me making you stop entire streams to talk about something serious over and over and over again. It's also nice because it's like your Friday stream slot always exists in this world of like, I'm aware that it's happening, but it's like so hard. Weirdly, lately, it's been like the one I've been able to, the one other than Sunday, I've been able to like kind of tune into the most. And it's usually like while I'm sitting and making dinner or something, and then I can't. Stream I'm editing right now has been like having like 30 minutes of important talk. There used to be a lot of that. But yeah, there's so much of your like of your Friday night streams that are even from that era will feel fresh to me because I just was not able to hang out for them. Thankfully, once I hit 2024, editing will go much faster as soon as I don't have to proofread chat anymore. Yeah, I was glad you said something because it's now something I don't have to worry about. And then when I was going back and when The Last of Us 2 season was hitting, I was like, oh, I should edit those. And I only got one of them done, but I was editing our Last of Us 2 playthroughs. And as I was doing it, it was like immediately just a lot of just like, oh yeah, chat. And it's like it's so not important, like what's happening in chat. And I had the full scroll that like a lot of people do. And it just makes you so, you can have like a really good video. Like when you don't have chat on screen, you can have like a really good video made out of a stream where like people aren't really there. But then when you have that on screen, it is like painfully evident. Like, oh, that same chat is still there. You know, it's very like, and your eyes get drawn to it when it moves. And it might not be, you know, you might be in like a very interesting gameplay moment, right? And it's like you're editing in a way to like try to draw the eye to that like funny thing or interesting thing that's happening gameplay wise. But as soon as that chat scrolls, your eye jumps right to there because it's movement, and sometimes it's something that can maybe be funny in context, but sometimes it's something so wildly out of context that someone's eye gets drawn there and they're like, why are they talking about Labubu's? Like, Tim says, yeah, people, even trusted users, say unhinged shit randomly. Yeah, and there's that too. So it's like even in the best of circumstances in which you can kind of understand that it's a thing that could be helpful, like you're still dealing with stuff like that. Well, it's just not for me, or not just wanting to promote bad shit, but like also the person with the dumb take or dumb joke grow up and you don't want people holding them down for something dumb they said years ago in a random stream. Yeah, that too. It's funny because like Facebook has been on the verge for a minute now of hey, we should we're gonna go back and delete all the live videos, you know, which in my case, since we've been doing the live comic sales, I have, you know, 52 a year of live once a week, like several hours long Facebook videos that have zero rewatch value other than like it's just kind of neat to be like, oh man, I can watch this, you know, what we were selling and who was bidding and who was buying things 6 years ago, right? Which pretty limited use case for that being interesting or valuable to people. So Facebook's been like, hey, we're gonna delete these, and then it's been they delayed it. They've like, hey, by the way, like I know we said we're gonna delete these things on this day, but actually now it's gonna be this day that we're deleting it to give you more chance to like archive things. So they're like trying give people a chance. Plus, I don't think they want to get like they probably looked and saw that most people didn't back up stuff. And then went, uh-oh. Because you know the second they take all those down, there's going to be some people, even though they've announced it several times, there's going to be people that are going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe they deleted all this. But they need to go, and I can tell you they need to go, because as someone who has like hours and hours and hours of video, about once or twice a week, I get like a slew of notifications from Facebook that like something in these videos has been like copyright claimed by some place that doesn't seem like they're the people that own the actual copyright to that thing, right? They're just probably scamming and running the numbers and trying to grab like music that isn't theirs, and so they can earn off of it. But like the problem with it is that like, so Facebook's spending all these resources to like scroll through all these videos and reference like, yep, this sound is a sound match because this song is playing in the background of this random thing here, and so you're splitting ad revenue with this person, and we have to notify the person that they have to take time, not time, but like resources to notify me that like, hey, this video is now sharing thing. And then now I just see that and I go like, that's really silly and dumb, whatever. But you know, there's someone out there who was just like, had like a weird, like, hey, we're doing a cookout or something thing. And basically was just like, all right, let's we're just, hey, we're live at the cookout, and someone had a boombox in the background, and then things are coming up, and they're like, why are you trying to own my video of my cookout from 6 years ago? So it's like that stuff just needs to go. You know, it's a lose for everybody, right? But it's crazy. And they just delayed it, which I thought was so weird. Sam said, speaking of deleting streams, I had a weird bug. A random stream didn't delete after the week or two, like newer streams have been deleted, and this one didn't. It didn't count towards my 100 hours. I manually deleted it, and the pop-up literally said it would clear 0 hours of my 100 hours. It was very odd. That is very odd. Yeah, it must have gotten archived in just like a super weird way. Guys, we're getting a cat claw. Hope no one's immensely bored. This is probably going to be the show for the next like 2 to 3 weeks. Is us just like routing through this dungeon, learning the critical path, and, you know, cleaning up the treasure chests, getting Sam more and more in fighting shape, although I should have, you know, healed him. That would have been a nice thing to do. Well, he's dead now. So. Ni no Kuni is winning the new poll, and it makes me happy. I love that game. It's definitely the case of like that game could use some focus. It's go vote for it. Is it for your like monthly short, or is it for like full-on streaming? I mean, I'm excited for either. I've been doing subscriber polls every few weeks now. It's for YouTube. Okay. That game is great. I wonder if this life spell goes up enough. If then I can cast it in battle, that would be nice. I think we figured that out, that I wasn't able to cast it in battle. I can't remember. I'm trying to give people more value for their money and let them help choose what I do. Yeah, I always like stuff like that. We're at this weird critical mass, and it weirdly hate the auto adjust to the back row. It's the worst thing to like try to remember to fix. Like our Patreon right now, there's like nothing going, and we have we were kind of already bleeding patrons over the Dork Duck era, coming off of the Rad Raptor when it was the Rad Raptor Patreon. So all of that stuff needs to be retooled and restructured, and then being forced to take the foot off the gas on Twitch stuff, because we had to, you know. It's like now, you know, our Twitch subs are nowhere near where they were either, so it's kind of we're on the we need to do like a full kind of restructuring and retooling of everything. It's part of my misstep in almost every era is I expect people to work at my production capacity, and I think that's only been true like when I was working with Emmanuel, and it was true when I was working with Tim, but like we weren't good at communicating with each other, so we would get really frustrated with each other all the time. With Emmanuel and Andrew though, it was solid, but like in retrospect, I think those are just the two people I know that are maybe the best people I've ever met at like communicating their boundaries. That's something that me and every other adult I've met has like really struggled with. But those are just two people that, you know, like I know, like I get to hang out with Andrew tonight, and I know that's a pretty rare thing, because it's like, you know, he's someone, his family is his most important thing, and he's a guy who he is in bed by 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock even, if he can manage it, and that's him and his boundaries. And so like when I was like, hey, I'd be like, hey, do you want to do this thing? And he would be like, well, is it happening after 7 o'clock? And I'd be like, yeah, because it kind of, he's like, then I'm not doing it. You know, like he was just very always direct and good with that stuff. Sam says the last few collection videos, I'm rolling a wheel to pick a console, then picking 3 games Shiki and I want to play, record, so let's talk about, and then let you all vote. That's a fun idea. I don't know, I said oh, I auto switched the word for you, so that worked out. I don't know if I did that purposely or if I just did it, but I said, yeah, the season's hard on Twitch. Between people going out and touching grass, the economy is also making people be a little more cautious with money. Less to throw at streamers, part of why I'm trying hard to get our YouTube channels partnered. I think that makes sense. But we're at a weird spot where so the whole idea with and I shared this when I was like posting in the Discord about it, but like the whole idea with Dork Duck was to start something that Selena could have and feel more ownership over, because the store was something she was more walking into, and I wanted something that she could feel like more included from the jump. And so like things like early on when like she was like, actually I kind of want to, I think, stream from my own thing. And I was like, okay, I would have set a lot of this up more differently than though if that was the case, you know. It was and just figuring out a lot of that stuff. And like at this point, you know, the store is started in 2018, so it's like it's 7 years old. It's gone through lots of different eras, but you know, it's of 7 coming on 8 years of the store. You know, Selena's been front and center of it now, like 3 to 4 years of it, to the point that it's like, it's not going to be long before there's like more years of her like being a huge part of the store than not. And so like, I think that branding is starting to, you know, become something that is less not her. So, which is cool. So, and Dork Duck has become synonymous with me, more so that it's become synonymous with me and Lena, which is the plan from the jump. So I now have these like 2 brands. I should probably put them back together, and just turn this back into like a Rad Raptor Twitch channel. But that also seems weird. And like there's a whole, and turn the Patreon back into a Rad Raptor Patreon, and like kind of bring everything back together, and take away the whole separate experiment. But it was also, it served 2 purposes, because it was like also like I was like, I gotta go through a bankruptcy and I don't want to like have to lose anything, and so like I might need to start a whole new name, right? And so that was like part of the whole thing with the Dork Duck thing too. I know that's a bad door. Why was I going immediately back to it? So, but not all that stuff is. It's not like there isn't lots of debt in the Rad Raptor name still, because there is, and there is maybe, you know, a thing in just like doing less of it. But like I should probably do something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. It probably is recombining them, but then it's like, I like what we built the Dork Duck though too. I don't want Delilah the Dork Duck to go away. She's cute. Sam says, I don't know. I think if it still is both of you, but I do get it. It goes in phases. Like early on in 2022 to 2023, Shiki and I streamed together a lot. And then as her pain got higher, it got uncomfortable for her to sit at the PC with me, alongside losing our couch setup. By the time you found me, it was a lot of solo playthroughs, and we've kind of mended that with short Switch co-ops. But she isn't on mic for that. Like, I don't think a lot of our newer people get that Cran made our combined avatars because we were always streaming together. Yeah, that was like well, as someone who loves you guys, like, it was tough too of watching the solo streams and enjoying those, but like at the same time the VODs were hitting of like those earliest like together streams and going like, oh my gosh, this is gold. Like, I want more of this. And you just being like, no, it's it's not happening, buddy. And then it would happen for like the bird lawyers, and I'd be like, oh my god, this is great. And then you know, I get it though, because you know, we go, do people really love our content that we do together? And sometimes it's the hardest, you know. I get everyone's just a little bit different in how they do things, and then also like what they can do, what they can't do, and everything else. And you know, it's like the amount of times these Dork Duck shows are like late or canceled, it's taken me a lot of work for that not to just send me into like a complete like tailspin. And that's, you know, working with other people. Like, I didn't anticipate that, but it's like I said, it's hard to sort out over the last couple of years. Like, there are people that I worked with a little better in those ways, but I think they were just people that were better at both understanding their own boundaries and at communicating them than either Selena or I are. And so it's to like a complete, you know, the amount of times I'd be like, hey, Emmanuel, let's do this, and Emmanuel was just like, well, I'm not doing that. Like, which is just not. Selena and I are both people that would be like, okay, even if we're in our head, we're like, what, we can't do that. We'll both say yes to it. It's just who we are as people. Sam says, yeah, I love playing games with her. Her pain just makes squeezing close at the PC really uncomfortable for her. In a perfect world, I want a better mic interface or board, and run a mic over to the bed for her and a monitor line so we can hear each other, but I don't have money for that. Yeah, I mean, I lucked into all this. It came both at an era where like the store was doing really well, and like we had the personnel, or there was someone there that was like, we need all this stuff for podcasting. And so, you know, I have this board. Trying to think, there's probably a relatively cheap way to set a setup like that up, though. Yeah, so like she can, if you guys can do Switch streams, then you can play from the bat. Like, I would start just with that, getting the mics figured out just for that, and then you can kind of work and build from there. Into different stuff. Mics are easy. Yes and no. I think you have a board, but like the thing that I always struggled with pre-board was just like, most computer mics you get are USB mics, and then getting two of them to like work together when like a USB mic wants to basically take over the whole thing is tough. I have an interface kind of over like a very small board. Okay, that should make it so it doesn't echo, right? Because it should just bring one. It should take the two lines and turn it into one, I think. I have a second mic that doesn't need fan to power. I can run it into the instrument channel on the interface. Yeah, because when we were trying to stream on Selena's channel, we definitely would have echo, but it was because I was playing. It was like we were trying to do the audio like over Discord or something, but we were in the same room. If we get loud, we'd pick up on the other's mic. Yes, but if those mics are bringing the information at the same time, that shouldn't theoretically matter. That's interesting, because like usually you only get like the echoes when there's like a delay between the two. What are the hookups into the interface? Is it XLR? Or are they like, what kind of mics are we talking? Sorry, I find this stuff really interesting. If you're like, this is boring, would you go back to just trying to get Sam tough and failing? I can do that. It'd just be about trying to get it properly cleaned up. I need a long XLR cable to read and a new boom stand. These aren't bad, these guys. My cats ruined them, which is annoying, but I'm glad I didn't spend the crazy money on them, because these are $20, these stands. So they're relatively cheap. My cats do break them over time, because they're just like, ooh, thing I can. It's one cat breaks them over time, just by rubbing his head into it over and over. But like that's nice, because it's $20, and so when it does break, you're not like, oh my god. I'll see what I have laying around XLR cable wise. So years of doing music, you never know. All right, need to move him forward. That's what I keep forgetting to do. Yeah, so you can actually get some amount of leveling up happening. I was this morning falling down a rabbit hole of this. Apparently, there's this thing, and I get it. It's like it's come up on this show before. People are very passionate about like being against AI, which like I understand as a position. But there's like a dude on TikTok who's like a writer who has been like paying artists like pretty obscene amounts of money to like make sure he's doing everything the right way. But people have just like decided that he is utilizing AI. And this was my morning, is just finding that, because there is literally nothing he can show or do these people to be like, see, look, I paid an artist and they did it. And they're always just like, oh, you just created that with it. There's no about, and it's like, I don't know enough. Like, maybe they're right. But then he did a whole video where he took the author Brandon Sanderson's like covers, which are very much not AI, right? Like they've existed like pre all the AI stuff, and he's taken like the full like original art, which like he's like, I know this exists in real life. I know this isn't AI, and let me run it through your AI checkers. And then it's like he does, and it's like, yep, this is AI. And he's like, yeah. So see, like it's saying that Brandon Sanderson, whose works that we know isn't AI, is AI. So like, can you guys maybe like come off the crusade a little bit? They're just like in the comments, just like be like, good luck trying to get us to hate Brandon Sanderson and accusing him of saying that. Like, that's not even what he said in the video. Since I use a condenser mic, it goes into a vocal channel XLR, requires phantom power. The second mic is an SM58 dynamic mic. I have a direct box to convert XLR to 1/4 inch for the instrument channel. My interface only has 2 channels. Okay. Don't rush it. The other thing is she doesn't like waking up for Sunday stream. I put that together as I was setting an alarm for the bird lawyers, and as it waned on, I could tell she was like, this having to wake up and perform thing is not for me. She said I watched that last night. Glad we're on the same TikTok wavelength like we are everything else. I've been watching back through Buffy too. It's been great. Sam says, but yeah, the boom stand would need to be a floor stand. We can stretch over onto the bed. I'll look and see what those have that are. There's got to be something out there that's a solid option for all that. If Shiki would just stop being funny and entertaining, be fine. She wouldn't be expected to wake up and perform on a Sunday morning. No one would miss her when she's not doing that. Like, that's where you and Lena get into trouble. You're just fucking charming and entertaining, and then people expect that from you. You're not. Oh Jesus, that is maybe the most false statement I've seen in my life. It is, it kills me just like how, as someone who works to be funny, it kills me how like just organically funny Selena is. It drives me insane. Like, and I'm always like funny, but in like a like clever, calculated, you can see the math I'm doing in my head kind of way. You can see what the moves I'm making to get to where the joke's landing, right? And it's not half as funny as when Selena just acts like herself. It's insane. Well, this is going well. Is this where we lose a whole bunch of progress again? Maybe. Or maybe these two will be able to somehow pull this out. I'm doubtful. Well, so far, so kind of good. This is my main guide to help curate the VOD channel, is to put the emote of who is on the mic in the thumbnail, so at the glance you can tell if we're alone or together. I like that. Even when she's trying to be serious, she makes jokes. Yeah. It does kill me. It's insane. And it's like, Viki has a touch of that too, but it's just that thing where it's just like, Chiki's like a mix of the two because she has my like love of wordplay and the you know the thinky funny, but has just like that inherent like funniness. But it's like Selena is just raw that, and it's just I could spend my entire life trying to be the best comedian I could possibly be, and I will never be as funny as she just organically is in those moments because she's not trying. She just is. It's not like I bet if I do this it's funny. She is just being her, and it is very funny. Heck, I forgot Sudoku today. Didn't know we were Sudokuing. I can't do Sudoku. There was like a season where I tried to be a serious Sudoker. I don't know if that's a technical term. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play some serious Sudoku. I think it was like when it was new, and I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. And Jeff the Sudoker, yeah, that's me. I think we're gonna leave and rest up because that almost killed us. That's life. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to warp. And I just, my ability to not have my dyslexia affect numbers is real rough, man. If I could play Sudoku, but like with pictures, if they made it out of 9 pictures instead of the numbers 1 through 9, I could fuck with Sudoku pretty hard. Or if they picked letters that were easy for me to not, if they picked words more than letters, I think if it was 9 words, but letters or numbers, that's not gonna happen. I love it conceptually though. It's so easy for me to mix that kind of stuff up and to see numbers there that aren't actually there. And yeah, if you did it with pictures, I could do some Sudoku. I actually really like some. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out what all we're gonna do with this stuff. Like I said, the thing that probably makes the most sense is recombining the brands. And just running with Rad Raptor, because that's like the thing that's working. And it's less confusing for people to try to figure out, like, between Rad Raptor and Dork Duck, what's where and what's happening, and got to move them forward. But I don't do anything quickly, and so I'm take my time settling into that, right? Jeff can fuck with Sudoku. Yes. Solve the board in 2:55. That's impressive. I'm a big fan of Wordle. I like Wordle. It was uneasy. Stoned again. Pretty early on. Jeff, did you ever find the grave in Elfland in Final Fantasy 1? Is that the Link one? The Here Lies Link grave? Yes. I've also watched that VOD of you guys finding it. It's not Link in the original, but yes, he did. Oh, see, I assumed it was, and I just didn't notice it. And then I was watching your guys' VOD, and I was like, oh, okay. Softs? Ugh. Okay. Well, that was a very short-lived jaunt into here. I didn't know we were Sudokuing. I'm desperately trying to fix my attention span. TikTok/doom scrolling actually rotted my brain. I don't think you're alone. I've been trying really, really hard to read again. I think one of the more difficult aspects is that I have to do social media marketing for the shop, and we make a lot more money when I do. And that just naturally brings me on things like TikTok and Instagram Reels because I make them, and then it's like, then I make them, and then it's like you get a notification that someone hearted it, and that's like good dopamine, and then you're like, cool, but then you're in the app, and then you lose the next 5, 10, 15 minutes of your life. Just, I can't say the thing I'm thinking out loud because Shiki likes to mock me when I think that sleeping in the inn should get rid of the ailments, but it also should get rid of the ailments, I think. I still like naturally, organically just go to do it. Speaking of that, The Tale of Despero is widely bereft of Despero, and I want to slap the author. I don't know much about The Tale of Despero. Is that the mouse thing? Why would I mock you? You did before. I mean, it was friendly mocking, but I was like poisoned, and I was like, why am I still poisoned after sleeping the inn? And you were like, Jeff, take arsenic, take a nap, wake up from the nap. Are you still poisoned? As I believe your exact words. Ooh. I'll do 20 more minutes of leveling up here, and then you gotta go pick up a kid from summer school. More than half the book is about characters other than Despero. Oh yeah, that's how we started. Oh, you're good. Tim says, I've been reading her The Tale of Despero. He was in part 1. Part 2 so far. Part 3 have been focused on other characters' backstories. After about 100 pages, I think we were finally getting back to it. Nice. Snoopy says, you haven't beat this yet? No. It's gonna be a bit, I think. It's a pretty rough... Going forward again. It's a pretty rough dungeon run, though. And so we've been doing it and steadily kind of leveling up because at least it only happens once in this game, as opposed to, you know, more than once in the game before this one. But it's very NES, where it's like, you should have to do 2 dungeons in a row. So we have to get to the point where we can smoothly make our way through the first dungeon, so that we can definitely make sure we make it through the next one. It's going to be a process. I thought the last stream you were like a stream away from beating it. I mean, this is all I have to do to beat the game, is get through this area. It's just, I hit another difficulty spike. So, as you do in these games, they're fun like that. And I forgot to buy a soft, so I have to go back to do that. Now that one of us is... I love how these guys never turned us to stone. Well, it's probably because they're all in the back row, I'm sure. And had they all been up there and hitting, they would have died before it happened. Same getting stoned on the job. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. I do think it's going to be like within, assuming I don't have to miss anymore, which is like, there was no fitting it into last week because I was getting arrested. But assuming I'm done with my life of crime and I'm not going to have to, you know, spend time in the joint when I should be playing Final Fantasy. It should be within the month. I remember hitting these kind of walls in the last game and even in this game, and it's usually like, it's like a week or two of kind of going like, all right, it's understanding the wall that's being hit. What'll get you past it, leveling that up, and then I did it again. I don't even need to say in the end. I need to unstone him. I need Sam to be sober. That's not what I need to do. I need to go to the item shop. So stuff like this, like, you know, making sure you have the items to deal with what you need to deal with, which is increasingly harder in this game where the inventory capacity just keeps shrinking, right? But the other option is to go somewhere and just cast Insuna over and over and over and over and over again till you get it to, I think it's level 5? Which she might be close at this point. That's not what I was trying to see her. It's level 3 and it's almost at level 4. So like theoretically, we could run around and just cast that a whole bunch of times and get that up. I don't think I bought another one. Yeah, it's what I keep doing to myself. You could do that and then you're like in a better spot. You still need have soft though, or you need to get someone else to get level up in Suna up to the point which that's such a task. So I'm gonna sell eye drop because I think she can cure those. Whole bunch of stuff I can't do anything with. It's just taking up my inventory. Cat Claw I'm not going to use, and it's probably worth a bunch. Yeah, so let's sell that. Are we going to use the Flame Sword? Not over Excalibur. That wouldn't make any sense. The Blood Sword is cool. Poison Axe is cool. Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, so we can get rid of the Flame Sword. Get some of this inventory back. I want to keep the revives. You never know. Definitely want to keep the elixir. Rid of the ice shield. The ever like disappearing inventory is maybe the worst feature of this game, and maybe the most like, dear God, could I just have this quality of life thing? Could my inventory just not shrink as the game goes on? Because I imagine that was not the original intention. Save. Go poke around. I still want to play for the next 15 minutes, even though it's probably a natural breaking point, but it's not like we're getting anything major accomplished today anyways. So. Especially if I never move my guys up. That is the other like quality of life thing. And they do it in other Final Fantasy games too. Like I don't think this is the only one. But man, the whole this person died so they are automatically moved to the back row thing. I don't like it. It would make more sense in a game that like where you could be bringing people back during battle and stuff, so they might be coming back but like they're really low HP. And you don't have the option to move them mid-battle, which you do get in later games. So like I could almost see it then, but it's just having to remember, okay, this person died, therefore they're not in the spot where they're supposed to be. And this game is like so anal about like if they're in the back row, they're not going to hit. And they're not going to get hit. So it's like their HP isn't going to level up at all. It does, like, they're there to hit. We'll keep leveling up, but also not super helpful. Alright, we are going to... This is the fact that it's a different menu doesn't help either. Okay. Very excited to see Superman tonight. I saw Jurassic World in whatever this Jurassic World is called. Retaliate. It's got some weird made up name. I can't remember. It's that movie was fine. Not the best. I do like Scarlett Johansson a lot, and I'm happy that she was in a movie. That game, that movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and everything that doesn't make sense about it, you could really see like a committee or like a the people in charge in a boardroom somewhere, like kind of forcing a lot of that kind of stuff into the movie, which is always frustrating. That said, it's the premise works for me. It's one of my favorite premises for a Jurassic Park sequel, and I think there's like probably a 90-minute cut of that movie where you can just turn your brain off and have fun. But it's like somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours, and it was fine. Lena had a really good time though, because dinosaurs. And then Monday morning we went to, they're doing like cheap screenings of like kids movies for summer, and 2 weeks ago when we went to Land Before Time, there was like, it was so packed in there, but when we went and saw Wild Robot, it was not. And my second time seeing Wild Robot, came out last year, and holy cow, is that an incredible movie. If you've not seen Wild Robot, I highly, highly recommend it. It's one of those, like, be ready to cry, though, and it's one of those when you watch it with your kid, they're like, they might cry but not understand why like the parent is crying so much harder in that it's a lot. That movie's a lot. It's good, but it's a lot. Pretty incredible. I know they're gonna make like 10 sequels or something to that movie because it's DreamWorks Animation, and I wish they didn't. I wish I could just like forever live in this world where like that movie exists and it is what it is and is this like beautiful piece of art. We'll see what happens when they inevitably are like, all right, Wild Robot 2, Feigl Goes West, or whatever they're gonna do with it. It's a pretty good film though. And then I'm excited tonight to go to what I think is going to be an incredible film, the new Superman movie. Tickets for 7 o'clock. Just getting mashed to pieces. Yeah, why should everybody be tiny? It's fine. Ugh, this game. To be fair, like, this is... Oh, god damn it. I just swung with her instead of doing a spell. God damn it. I love how they continue the tradition in these games of these enemies being like this, but like in the later games, you tend to fight like one of them. It's not like it's very often that it's just like, hey, what if you have to fight all of them? Oops, I hit run instead of doing a spell. But then they all ran. That was really weird. Okay. Sure. I mean, everyone leveled up, so it was like good from that sense. There's going too much. But that's what we got to get to, is being able to face and run into battles like that without it like completely, you know, kind of decimating the whole run. And we can try to like chicken shit through a lot of it. I mean, that's how we beat the first game, is just running from so many battles too. Back, sorry, how goes things? They go fine. We're about to wrap up here. Hope you're having a good Thursday morning. We got you over 2,000. And I think the whole goal last week was to make sure we got you over 1,000. So Russell, that's pretty normal. That's not supposed to be normal, Sam. It's supposed to find some peace. I'll go beat people up on your behalf. I don't think this is where we want to go. I think this is a dead end. It is a dead end. It was actually by the door up there in the middle. Or no, it's off to the right, I think. That's the other thing, is I need to learn these routes. Get better at them. Yeah, Ultima up to level 8. I mean, it's like we've made good progress today. I can definitely see a world where it doesn't look like it, you know, because it feels like we've just like looped in the dungeon a little bit, and it's like it's a little more esoteric in this game, like when you're making progress leveling wise and when you're not. But this is all good stuff. It just does not. It doesn't feel. It's so interesting because like this was their attempted to try to do something different to like differentiate themselves more from, you know, the first one, which was largely just at that point D&D rules, right? And a lot of their changes I think really work really well. I think one of the things that they were just not really anticipating is just how much that watching that number go from level 1 to level 2, I think feels just inherently better than like in this fight this little thing went up a little bit, and this fight this little thing went up a little bit. I think they just didn't like I was watching the Trevor Noah was like being interviewed for something, and he was talking about roller coasters, and like he really likes roller coasters, and it's, God bless him, I can't stand the things, but like he really likes going with his friends to like to amusement parks. And like when he got the Daily Show, he and his friends were like gonna go to like one of the parks, and they were like, "You are Trevor Noah, you will want for nothing. So like we're gonna make it so that you know, as you go in, you know, we're gonna let you like skip all these lines and stuff, because typically when you know, go to I'm not into roller coasters, but you know, you wait in line, and then like you get out, you go and you're on the roller coaster for like about 2 seconds, and then it's like, okay, cool, let's go. And because he was a big celebrity, that got like taken away from him. Yeah, they stress me out too, Sam. I've never fully understood the appeal. But he was talking about the fact that like he and his friends went, and they got to skip the thing, which like felt like it was gonna be cool, like oh my god, because I'm famous, like I get to just like skip standing in line. But they just went from roller coaster to roller coaster to roller coaster, and it was like they all got headaches and were kind of bummed out. And it's like he said they had this realization that it's like they thought they were going to the amusement park for the roller coasters, but they were actually going to the amusement park to be like kind of forced to just like stand and slow down with friends, and that like being in line was the thing, because you got to be like, so what's going on with your ex? Is that still like, are you still trying to get back together? Like those kind of conversations that we don't make time for, and that kind of sort of time we don't make time for, was organically happening before. And as much as you feel like, oh man, this is the worst part, if we could skip this part it would make it better, life's usually not like that. Yeah, it was a pretty poignant thing that he was saying. What is up, Addo? Addo, I don't understand what happened. I woke up this morning and went to use the brain cell, and Sam was blocked from my mind. I had a mental Sam block. I was told that was you. Actually, I'm just kidding. I heard you accidentally block Sam, and I wanted to be funny about it. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but it's placed. And oh god. Yeah, so it was but it was like this like kind of revelation of just like, yeah, sometimes, you know, the things that you don't always fully understand what it is you're enjoying about something too, right? He's getting nothing. Yes, I'm joking. But like I think that the leveling up, I don't think they realize just how much emotional like stuff you feel out of just like, oh, I went from level 1 to level 2. Now I'm up at level 3 now. And so like we just had a day here of real progress. But because it's like everything's making these like small adjustments up, it sometimes doesn't feel like it. And there's not like that fanfare of like, da 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 da, we went from level 1 to 2. Like that doesn't happen. It's just like, oh, you know, I remember when Vince's health, Guy's health there was at, you know, like 2000 and some, and it was like I blinked and it crawled up to like this 5500, and that just happened from organically playing the game. You know, it's not like I've ever actively tried to level him up, but it's just happened. And it's like, but I've never been like, whew, yay, I got to there's just not a lot of accomplishment built into this leveling system. I mean, it's there, you just have to look harder for it. And I think that's probably a lot of people's problem with this game. By the way, we will be live the next 2 days. Tomorrow we'll be live here with Selena and I playing with doing Selena's first playthrough of Hollow Knight. Tomorrow, and then Saturday night we'll be live on Whatnot. I just put the link there. You can follow that link and they will give you $15 free to buy from somebody. I think you just have to pay the shipping, which, by the way, even if you don't buy from us with that $15 free, we get $5 from it. So like, go buy whatever you are into from there. Support someone who's like selling their own stuff that's cool. Find someone cool first, and buy something from them, and then we get a kickback. Otherwise, we'll be live on that platform every Saturday from 8 to 10 for the foreseeable future. So that's one of the places you can catch us. Every Wednesday night for the last, I don't know how many years, I've been live there from 8 to 10 selling comic books. And the comic book sales shows, don't feel obligated to buy anything. If you want to come and hang out, though, that you still can, and that's still helpful because, you know, it gives us, helps the algorithms. And then we give away a lot of stuff on, especially the Facebook one, we give a lot of stuff away on that show. So, because we reward people just for like hanging out and watching and sharing and all that stuff. So it's like, you might end up with something anyways. And if you don't buy anything else, we will probably, and you win something free, we'll probably just be like, hey, pay the shipping and we'll send it out to you. And we undercharge for shipping too. We also have a YouTube channel. I am beginning my work on the big long video essay on Final Fantasy II. I've started it. it's already pretty evident. It's going to be much longer than the one I did on Final Fantasy 1. If you've not watched the one I've done on Final Fantasy 1, please follow that link and check it out, as well as our other YouTube stuff we've done. Put a lot of work into it when we had the time to. Right now it's taking all of my spoons to do these streams and then do all the editing for that big video coming up. We also have raid messages. They look like that and that. Thank you for hanging out for... I need to figure out how to shorten all of that. That was a big long spiel. But yeah, we have 2 different raid messages depending on if you are subbed or not. Let me see who is on that we can go say hi to. It was great to see you, Jeff. Hope you're all doing well. Same to you, man. It's good to see you. Sorry I have not been around as much as I would like to be lately. It is been a bane of my existence. It's like I really that like 6-month stretch where we got to like just really focus on the streaming stuff, I think I will probably be thinking about for the rest of my life. I liked that life. That was a fun life. And you know, would definitely like to get back to there in a perfect world. Let's go bug Go Bug Starfish is doing a Leon speed run of Resident Evil. Or is practicing for one, because I don't know how speed running works. I know you have to do a lot of practicing. So we're gonna head over there. I appreciate you all. Be honest, be kind, be useful. Live a good fucking life. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow and Saturday night. Yeah. Have a good Thursday, everyone. Bye.